So what I'd like to do now is to kind of hand this over to Amy to talk about what kind of objections might people have to deal with as they try to sell this services. So Amy, if you'll take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jamie. So this is Amy Long, and I've been working with Douglas County Library since 2004, where I started as a circulation clerk. I'm currently the branch manager for the Parker Library, and I've been actively engaged in the community since 2009. I'll be talking a little bit about overcoming objections, as Jamie said, and the reason we wanted to address this right away is because if you're anything like the rest of us, when Jamie first presented this idea to Douglas County Libraries, we had a lot of objections right off the bat. We had a lot of thinking, well, wait a minute, I don't know about this, and some people were very concerned, and we had a little bit of pushback. We had a little bit of just trepidation about this work. We did, to a certain degree, think Jamie was crazy, yes, but in the best way, crazy like a fox. So what we did was try and figure out what are the questions that are out there and how do we address them. Jamie, I think, took a very interesting way to solve this problem. He looked at the staff and he asked a group of us to start talking to department heads and start talking to the staff to find out why this work wasn't being integrated into the culture. And so there was a small group of us, about 4 people, which included Catherine Johnson, Elizabeth Kelson-Huber, Colby, and I, who all worked together. And we tried to bring some structure into this concept, which included creating definitions, creating a consistent approach, some expectations. But our biggest job was to share success stories in order to build enthusiasm for this work and help connect people to why this was important. As we've talked about this at conferences and other places, we've written a couple articles and done some other things, what we've found is that people are really concerned about 3 different levels of buy-in that they need in order to make this happen. The first level is your boss. The second level of buy-in that most people are looking for and trying to figure out is how do you get buy-in from your team. And the third level is how do you get buy-in from the community. So I'm going to address a few of these things, some of the tips and things that we've learned, as well as some of the things we've worked on with other libraries as they've talked to us. So from the boss perspective, this really depends on who your boss is. I mean, your boss could be the board. If you're a director level, the boss could be the city council. It could also be maybe a supervisor or a director, depending on what level of the organization you're in. We've talked to people at various levels who are looking to move this work forward, and so they're concerned about how you get buy-in from all these types of people. So we have kind of broken it down into tying the initiative into 3 main points: building support, creating a positive image, and effective planning. We feel like these really hit on the target areas of any supervisor or boss or anyone who's overseeing work. These are the things they're concerned about. So building support. This work creates more library-centered community because you're becoming more community-centered. It begins to create a stronger community support for the library. For example, the Parker community, and Colby actually started at Parker, and they've been doing this work the longest. The Parker community, they see the library as part of their long-range planning. They don't envision a life without libraries. They see us as an institution that evolves and adds value. To us, this is key to our future, that they don't just say, oh, in 10 years, who knows what the library will be. In 10 years, they know the library will be a part of their downtown area. They know that we will be here and we will be functioning. In addition, this initiative focuses on building relationships with the movers and the shakers, with the doers, the community groups that make decisions for the community about the community's future. So building those relationships directly translates into their support and the long-term support of your library. The other thing to think about is that you're creating a positive image of your library. You know, as you're out in the community, as your representatives are there working side by side with people in the community, attending meetings, learning about what's going on and what the issues are, you begin to get a pulse on the community, and the information that you learn about your community, no matter what level of the organization you're in, helps inform your decisions. You can give that information to your boss or your board or your city council. And this information helps you become an active participant in building that stronger community. One of the questions we asked Jamie early on was, if you're run by a city council, how do you get them to buy into this process? And he told a great story about how he sat in city council, or you can go to your city council and say, I'm here to make you look good. I'm here to support you. I can answer questions. I can get research if you need it. I can let you know what I know about the community. I can help bridge gaps. And so to me, that really helped me understand how this can create a positive image, not just for the library, but for whoever your boss is, whether it's a board or a city council or a director. If you think about Jamie, Douglas County has grown a great deal. And all of a sudden now we have very large communities that have multiple groups in each community. Jamie used to do this work all by himself. He no longer could attend every community meeting in Douglas County. So each of us represent Jamie. Each of us represent his influence in the community. And so not only am I known in Parker, serving on the chamber board, Jamie is well represented in Parker because I'm serving on the chamber board. So I think as you think about it from that way, you begin to see that being out in the community, knowing what's going on out there, can help you be more strategic in your planning, which means you're going to make better decisions, which means your boss will make better decisions because they have the information they need. So that has really been our focus in how do you get buy-in from your boss? How do you convince them that this should be part of your job? How do you show the value in what this work can do? I think the next piece of buy-in that was a challenge at DCL is that we had a lot of really enthusiastic people, but they weren't quite sure how to get their team members on board. How do you convince the librarian sitting next to you who really just wants to be at the desk that this is a good thing to do? I love the way Colby put it 4 years ago. She just looked at us and said, this is what we do. We already know how to do this. All it is a customer service outside the building. It's just an extension of the reference interview. And she's going to talk a little bit more about that. But demystifying this work and breaking it down to it's the same thing we do inside the building, but now we're taking it outside the building and to the community groups that maybe aren't coming in every day and figuring out how to serve them. That had the most impact because it boils it down to it's not different. It's just a different location for the same work. And then as I thought about it further, working in Castle Pines and working in the community, I realized that as I was serving on the chamber board there, that there were taxpayers serving on the chamber board with me, taxpayers who didn't necessarily come into the library, but who supported us. And so it allowed me to serve them directly in a new way, people who already support the library, which was quite a revelation to me. Because generally we're supporting our patrons, the ones who come inside the building, which is awesome. And we do a great job at that. But having the opportunity to serve even more of the people who support us and who are part of our funding, that became really a huge source of impact for me. I also think something that has happened at Douglas County quite naturally is that it has become part of advancement opportunities. Here at Douglas County, as Jamie said, the higher up you get in the organization, the more you realize what's happening in the community becomes more and more of your focus. So when we have somebody who's ready for advancement, when somebody is ready to take on a promotion, giving them the opportunity to embed with an organization is a great proving ground for their skills, for a good testing area to see how can they build those relationships, what do they do with those partnerships, how do they bring that community group into what we do as a library? And they start to gain experience that can help them in interviews in the future, experience that can help them transition into higher positions. And so it really becomes a professional development tool. And so that has, it's not the only way you can get promoted at DCL, but it's definitely something we use to develop our high performers. So all of these things, I think, go to convincing the team over time that this really is valuable work and that it's exciting to be a part of it and that it adds a new level. I think the biggest question people often have is, what about the community? How do I walk into a meeting and convince them that I should be there? How do I get them to agree to let me sit in their meeting? It's funny because I was really, really worried about this the first time I attended a chamber board meeting, just as public at large. I wondered, are they going to wonder what I'm doing? Are they going to be concerned or curious? And actually what happened was I just said, hi, I'm Amy Long, and I'm here from the library to learn more about your organization and how the library can support you and your goals. And they said, wonderful, we're so glad to have you here. And it was not at all as nerve-wracking as I thought, and it didn't take very much convincing at all. And that's because these community groups need our support as much as we need their support. One of the things I found was that this kind of work can really help the community organizations look good. And the reason is because we have the opportunity to do some things for them that they maybe can't do for themselves. For example, in Castle Pines, I helped the Economic Development Committee with a report on medical marijuana dispensaries. And there's a 3-page executive summary that's on the Web Junction links that I put out for them so that they could give that to the town council and help the town council solve their problem, which was, what do I do with all these medical marijuana dispensary applications that we just got? How do we handle this? And the EDC didn't have time to do the research, and I said, hey, I'm a librarian. I can do it for you. And I did. I turned it into them. They turned it into their city council. Jamie passed it on to the county commissioners. It kind of went viral throughout the county. And what I saw was that it had an impact, but it wasn't the information that had the most impact. The information was a snapshot in time. If you read it now, this is 2009. It's no longer relevant. What was relevant is the library stepped up and helped this community group achieve their goal. And that's what really had the impact. So becoming a critical member of the community and someone who can support their goals is really all you need to convince them that you should be a part of what's happening.